And welcome back to PSA TV. This is the Wake Up Call. Joining me on set right now, I have the chairman of the PEP, Ms. Felicia Holder. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Christy.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to talk to the young and vibrant ones in politics these days. You know, the last time Akila was here, we had a very interesting conversation about women in politics. And, you know, as a young lady yourself, what would have led you to get involved in politics?
I thought that would be your first question, so I
Actually,
over-prepared
no,
for
it was not supposed to be my first question. My first question was supposed to be a little bit about yourself, but I feel like just...
Jumping right into it. What would have led me to get involved in politics? A lot. It was actually some years leading up to my involvement in politics officially that I started to pay more attention to the political landscape. And I mean, I grew up knowing PNM, UNC, and
the traditional parties.
And my family is a traditional PNM voting family, but I was always not the wayward one. I was always the I don't want to say the outside child. I was always the one who would...
You break norms.
I would break the norms, and I wouldn't just go with what people told me. I like to think and observe.
You don't follow blindly.
I don't follow blindly. So I was when I became more involved and more interested, I started to notice things that I did not agree with. I started to notice that, you know, because my family voted PNM doesn't necessarily mean that PNM is good for you. And there were things that were happening at the time that I did not agree with, and then we changed governments, and I saw things that were happening with the other government, that was the PP-led government, and I was not happy. And particularly as a young woman, things like crime and violence and rape were things, and human trafficking, which was on the increase at the time, was something that didn't sit too well with me. And a young lady was murdered a couple weeks before I got involved officially in the Progressive Empowerment Party. That was Shannon Banfield. And that one hit me. It hit me hard because it's a store that I would usually go in. It's not too far from where I live. I live in Belmont. That's right in Port of Spain, Charlotte Street. I would shop there all the time, and I felt that I needed to take a stand. I needed to get more involved, and I made my way to the launch of the Progressive Empowerment Party, and well, that was almost 3 years ago, and well, as, I don't want to say luck, but as chance would have it, you know, I got very involved, and well, now I'm here as the chairman of the party.
How has your journey been thus far?
Challenging. I would be very honest with you. It's challenging to break that two-party mindset that people have. It's challenging because you grew up knowing, like I said, I grew up PNM household.
And most of us, we were raised in this household that either you're UNC dominated, PNM dominated. And it's really, I mean, as young people, when you step out of that realm that we were brought up in, you're looked at as, oh, you want to do what you want to do.
Yes, the own made child. That's what I wanted to say earlier. I was seen as the own made child. It's been challenging, but so rewarding. Just this morning, I'm up dressing, getting ready for this interview, and I'm thinking there's nothing that I would rather be doing at 5 a.m. in the morning than heading to an interview to talk about what I love.
And that's what we call passion.
That is passion. It's a passion. And I bring my passion into everything that I do, particularly my role as the chairman of the party. So challenging, but very rewarding, I have to say.
And what do you bring to politics as a young lady?
What do I bring to politics? I bring me. Philip always tells me, you know, when you do an interview, bring yourself, make sure you shine.
It sounds like Philip.
It's Philip. And I bring me because like I said, I'm a very passionate person. As you can see, it's almost 3 years now that I would have been involved in the Progressive Empowerment Party, and were it not for my passion and my will to do this and my will for a better country, because I grew up in Belmont. I see firsthand the problems that affect people in Belmont: drugs, homelessness, poverty, alcoholism. We have a lot of it happening in Belmont, and when people talk crime, they usually talk about crime from the perspective of the victim.
Yeah.
They talk about crime from the perspective of, we are being traumatized as a nation, as a citizen, as a community. I talk about crime twofold. I talk about that as a victim as well as crime from the position of understanding that a lot
You
of
don't
these
have any
youth,
opportunity?
a lot of these youth feel like they have no opportunity. And I, living in Belmont, have experienced within the past 6 months at least 4 separate incidents of crime and gun violence. And I mean, not directly, but I see and I speak to a lot of the young people in my community, and I realize that they just feel like they have no hope and no opportunity. So when I talk crime, I always talk about it from the perspective of understanding that crime is a symptom of a bigger problem, which is poverty.
It's a social issue.
It is a social issue, and that's why I take a personal interest in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what continues to be one of the bigger issues affecting people of Belmont?
I will definitely say poverty. 2 weeks ago, I had to make the decision between giving this guy on my street who was looking a little suspicious, giving him $10 or him coming back in half an hour to, because he looked like he was canvassing the area. I don't want to judge him prematurely, but it's not the first time I've seen him walking around and asking, and I mean, it's something that I'm observing more and more and more. Lots of people are begging, they're asking, give me a little small change, and I'm seeing it happen.
It's not one of those bold-faced beggars,
no,
right?
It's not one. He was very humble with it, and he said, usually he would come in my yard and pick some guavas from the tree, and I'd let him do that, but I'm realizing that a lot of people, especially those who are not working and have, all they can do is like a 10 days or something, they are in a state of desperation because the prices in this country for food and
it's ridiculous.
Clothes, and if you have children, it's also, it's astronomical. And poverty, definitely, and drugs. I mean, since I'm a child growing up, I've noticed that there are a lot of people who have been or are on drugs in Belmont. Not saying it's all of the population, because in Belmont East, the population is just about 3,300, but there's a good percentage of those people who would have come from families who have been affected or themselves are affected by drugs and poverty and stuff like that.
Wow. Sometimes you just hear things, and it's only until you actually in the situation or you live it, then you know how dire a problem is.
Yeah.
And I feel like the average citizen may just know, okay, Belmont is Belmont.
Yeah.
That's just Belmont. We don't really have anything going on there too spectacular. Okay, the stereotype comes in, but why? Why is Belmont the way it is? You know what I mean?
I would like to ask this question. Why is Belmont still the way it is?
Yeah.
Is my question. Because I said for me, growing up, I'm seeing these problems happening. And if you notice, I didn't say crime was an issue. Crime is a big issue, especially because Belmont goes through ebbs and flows. A couple months, it's just quiet, you're not hearing anything, and then you start to hear, like I said, in the past 6 months, we had a couple instances as well of crime and guns and criminal activity. But I didn't say crime was the main issue because I know a lot of this is fueled by people who are living near or on the poverty line. And when I ask the question, why is it still like this? Because we are an independent nation, 57 years now. Belmont was one of the first established free towns after slavery, yet the development of Belmont has actually been receding. It's instead of going up, things are getting worse. You're looking at
have you seen Belmont actually develop over time?
Develop in terms of maybe they might, so the bar...
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. The bar in my corner got a nice awning.
Right.
So the guys who drink, they can drink in shade. But in terms of
human resource.
In terms of development of human resource and people, no. Definitely not, I would say, and I don't count things as giving people a 10-day walk or a URP or a CPEP as development. That's not development. No.
That's just trickery. You've been on the streets together with the PEP for their, they recently launched their stuff in San Fernando there, their new office.
Well, no, we had a public meeting in San Fernando on Harris Promenade.
Right,
Yes.
so yes, it was a public meeting in San Fernando. So you've been, east, west, north, south, and Trinidad. What would you say is one of the major issues affecting people of this country?
One,
Let's look at the top three.
one will definitely be water. I mean, Christy, wherever you are in Trinidad and Tobago right now, water is a problem unless you have 50,000 gallon tanks in the back of your yard. So if water goes from
You're
one,
just hoarding water
yeah.
in the back.
But everywhere you go, water is an issue. I read an article dated the 12th of July 1957 from The Guardian that said the water problem is
solved by
likely to be
1960?
solved by 1960. That was 62 years ago.
Yes.
62 years ago. And water is still an issue. Last week we had no water in Bahamas. I have tanks too, sitting on the tap.
Nothing.
Nothing. And I mean, this affects your daily life. And
Of
people
course
don't
it
talk.
does.
I feel like people don't talk about this enough. I don't know if it's embarrassing.
I think it is. I really do
It's
think
not
it is.
embarrassing for me because I'm not WASA. I don't work WASA. I am not in charge of catching, storing, holding, treating water. And were I in charge of that, I know Belmont would have had water last week because there's so many solutions for solving the water problem in Trinidad and Tobago. We get thousands times the amount of rainfall that we need. 2 weeks ago, enough rainfall fell to last us 10 years. And yet, I turned on my tap. And the irony of it was like, at
It's
the time that rain
raining.
was falling, I turned my tap on.
Yeah.
There's no water.
Yeah. I mean, like, my mom is from South. So, for weeks, Mommy, water came back. No, I have no water. We have no water. And I'm like, how? And it's raining. And we see that water is being treated as a want instead of a need. Whereas your
Exactly.
basic amenities where you were supposed to be provided water, it's now being held as something that we play politics with.
We do, and I was actually having that discussion with a friend this week who's doing her master's thesis on the politicizing of the Water and Sewage Authority, and she said, her research is taking her to places where it's not that we don't have the water, it's not that we can't store, treat, distribute. It's that people are literally playing politics with the needs of the citizens. And again, like I said, when I turned on my tap that day and there was no water, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to work that day. I was home.
And funny enough, if you tell your average boss, well, you don't have water, they might watch you like, so you don't have a tank. But sometimes people don't understand that, okay, well, we have no water. As in,
Yeah, there are cases where people have no water. And I spoke to a couple of people that I knew well in Belmont, and they were in the same position. They had no water. And like I say, you ask me what problems affect all of Trinidad, and that's one definitely. You go everywhere you go, people are complaining. It's either irregular or they don't get it at all. You actually got a bill at the end of the month.
Oh my God, let's not even go there. Sometimes, like I've seen on social media, people, they post, and they're like, so WASA gave me a bill, but we didn't have water for the entire month. So what exactly is WASA billing you
I don't
for?
know. And Christina, developed nation, this cannot happen. You don't get water for a week. You get a rebate at the end of the month. Ma'am, sir, this is your rebate for the week that we did not provide you with
What
water.
even is
Well,
that?
We don't know about that.
What even is
We don't know
that?
about that life here.
No, but I mean, if you were to say, well, Trinidad and Tobago is not a first world, well, that's, the offense people would take to that.
Listen, I don't like to compare myself or compare this country to others in terms of, are they doing better or we doing worse. I like to compare the fact that we are 57 years independent, and countries who have celebrated 50 similar amount of years, like Singapore, half the size of 57 years independence, and they are a first world nation. So what we have everything to make us.
I literally just said
just
that.
Like Singapore.
I said, we have all the resources here, but what is our keep-back?
Politics, corruption, mismanagement, lack of political will, people who are focused on serving themselves and not the constituents that they came in claiming to represent.
Yeah.
That's the only problem that we have right now.
Let's look at local government elections. I know the PEP isn't contesting local government elections. So you're in the constituency of Belmont, is it?
Well, it's been North St. Anne's West. I'm in the electoral district of Belmont East.
Right.
Yes.
So, what was the last time you saw a councillor there? Or the councillor for the area?
When I ran against her last year for elections.
Wow.
But I have had some conversations with her on Facebook regarding issues within my immediate neighborhood. People would actually send me requests to get things done, which I would forward to her. We have an issue with rats and rodents in the neighborhood. They would ask me and I would reach out to her. But in terms of seeing her as a person coming to me, I lost it.
But that's funny, I mean, local government elections are right around the corner. This is the time that you should actually see, if no other time during the year, this is where they come out from hibernation.
Oh, no. They're going to be knocking at my door pretty soon.
Exactly.
And I'm waiting with my PEP jersey on.
Hibernation period is over, so they will come out and just, once again.
I mean, we know it, we've seen it, we've gone through it. Since I'm a child, they come, they knock on your door, they shake your hand, they kiss your babies, they make promises.
Oh my gosh.
And then elections are over and
back to hibernation.
Back to hibernation and back to the same rubbish. And when I say rubbish, I mean literally, because last year I campaigned for a whole rubbish collection system. That is an issue in Belmont, by the way. You asked me to name one of the top issues. If I had to name one of the top 5, garbage
So we
collection.
had water, poverty,
crime, drugs,
garbage collection,
rubbish. Yes. There are areas within Belmont where you can pass, even now. Today is what, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Rubbish would have collected today. You can pass even now and see piles of rubbish just mounted up because 1, we don't have bins, and 2, the schedule is very, I don't want to say it's irregular, but rubbish, I mean, I alone generate so much rubbish that I need to throw out my trash almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have that.
When you say you don't have bins,
you know those
to the side of the road where you have the bins?
We used to have one of those, what you call them? The metal bins that they have, the yellow and green ones where you could throw your things in, like a community bin.
Okay.
We used to have those and then they removed them. So people now put their rubbish where the bins used to be. Now the reason we had those bins is because, I don't know if you know Belmont well, but we have very small and narrow streets.
Yes.
So
yes.
the truck can't go through all of the streets. So we would have a central area where you can put rubbish. They removed those.
Yeah.
And instead people now put the trash where the bins used to be. And because of that, we have problems like rats.
Yeah, because now you'll have a buildup of all this rubbish there. Oh. So that's a health hazard as well. It
is a health hazard as well. And I mean, the solution that I campaigned for was so simple. Like, 1, you have a designated area for bins. 2, of course, you'd have to educate the public because you have people doing the wrong thing.
I think that is the key thing there. Education.
Yes, definitely. Educate the public. I suggested we create a nice Facebook page. It's 2019. Come on, technology is at the tip of our fingertips. You can reach your Burgesses just by your cell phone. You can send them a broadcast, WhatsApp to people, letting them know what's happening. Again, simple management solutions that can be applied that are not being applied because there's so much politics involved in it. You asked me, you said, sorry, that the Progressive Empowerment Party was not doing local government. Yeah, because we believe it's an absolute waste of time. Absolute. There's nothing that local government does for you. It does not benefit you in any way. It's actually, to me, just a voter padding too, because last year you were hearing people being offered work in exchange for jobs. And I mean, there's no way I can prove this.
But we all know
but
how
it's
it
the reality.
goes.
It's a fact. It's happening.
I don't know if you were listening to the interview before, and she was talking about, you know, there's a vacant house on a piece of land next to her house. Grass is tall, mosquitoes are breeding there, snakes, rats. She called her counselor. Counselor said, well, Mom, I can't do anything about it. There's only so much I can do. My hands are tied. So then what is your purpose of being there?
What is the purpose of being there? And I would like to take this moment to talk about a solution that actually works. Imagine if instead of local government and that whole council system and corporation, and forget all of that. Imagine if we had a constituency board that was divided into someone who's dealing with public works,
right,
utilities, health, education, national security, and they're all answerable to the member of parliament for your area. So that person in essence acts like the CEO of your constituency. So things like public sanitation, when he gets a call, hi, do you know that on the corner of Norfolk and Pelham Street that there's a pile of rubbish? He can now go to that person who is in charge and say, listen, we have an issue that is happening, because of course he's a member of parliament, so his job is to be in and represent his constituency.
I make that point as well, because you know, sometimes you go to the MP of your area thinking that they are to be in the office 24/7, but they're not there. So which means you now have to get someone who not could fill in, but someone who could carry out your duties, and like you rightly said, to have like a CEO of the MP.
Because look at it now, you want to get something done, you will call 15 different people and they will tell you we are not responsible. Oh no, call the councillor. No, it's not the councillor, call the alderman. No, call the corporation. And you're basically getting bounced all around and there's no real clear line or system of accountability.
Who does what? Really?
Who does what? We actually tried to call a corporation and they bounced us all over, live on air. We never got onto the person that we needed to get onto. And that is where we have all the failures in this system of governance that we have, because there is literally no lines, no clear accountability, no responsibility, no transparency. And we say do away with all of that. Make it so that you are responsible for your constituency. You're responsible for everything that happens within your constituency. Port of Spain, North, St. Anne's West, I'm responsible for your health, your education, your security, your public goods, your public utility.
I think it's a good way of even modernizing the way in which we do things.
Exactly.
It gives it a nice finish. Like aesthetically, it just sounds better than, okay, I have a councillor. And then let's look at community centers. Does Belmont have community centers?
Yes, we do. We have one.
It's operational?
Yes. I had to think for a second. It is.
For a particular party or for the entire community?
Well, it's supposed to be open to the entire community.
Supposed to. I like how you said that.
Is it something that is used by the entire community? I would say no. Same way are the recreational facilities something that is used by the entire community? No. Because are they upkept? No. The community centers is something that you have to apply for to use, etc. But as
I have no idea.
In terms of what it's meant to be a center of activity and culture for the community, I would say no.
We've seen the essence of a community center slowly depreciate.
No. That's where you have fats and cool-up fats and yeah, that's what you have there now. Community centers aren't for developing the community.
As a child growing up, you know, a community center was somewhere you heard single mothers would go there, learn like probably to sew or to do hair and nails, and men would go there to learn to plant stuff. They'll have grow box classes. Students would go there for classes. But now, I'm like, do we even have community centers? Like, I don't, and that, I think that kind of, it tears apart communities in the sense that the essence of brotherhood is lost. When you have a community center that was supposed to bring a community together and not have a fete or a party, but teach your constituents things that will benefit them.
Yeah, I agree with you, because in essence, a nation is a collection of communities. And in each community, there are things that hold you together.
Yeah.
Some communities, they're very active in sports. Some communities, they're very active in trade. And you see it, like in Point Fortin, for example, they're very big in the culture and the art.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's slowly depreciating. We're losing that. And within the communities itself, you know, there's that erosion of that lifestyle that you're talking about. And not only is it that these programs are not being offered, but in the time that we live in right now, people are less inclined to be involved in that. When you have other things to study, like your children coming from school
and to tie into that, I mean, your security is at risk.
Your security is at risk.
You step out your door at 8 o'clock and you're not sure to return home or in one piece. And where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong as a nation?
A young lady, a pregnant young lady, went missing in Belmont about 3 months ago. I don't believe that they found her. I attended the PNM rally, not the rally, after they did their budget presentation, they usually do
a post-discussion.
A post-discussion on Pigot's Corner, which is a tradition since, I believe, the inception of the PNM. And I'm so sorry they didn't have an open mic, which is the only thing I went there for. Because I wanted to ask the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Finance, who all sat and gave their elaborate presentations. I wanted to ask them, what is being done to secure the nation's borders? What is being done to prevent crimes like human trafficking of our young women? I wanted to ask them, did you know when you came into Belmont today that we have a missing woman of 3 months, a missing pregnant woman? I didn't get to ask them those questions, but I'm pretty sure that the answers would not have been anything to appease my curiosity, because, I mean, Christy, I really love my community. I remember spending a lot of years thinking, oh, I want to leave Belmont. My mindset has changed. I want to change Belmont. It's a place that I want to live. It's a place that I want to, you know, bring up my family. I'm watching my friends who have kids who are entering primary school now, and I don't have kids. And I mean, apart from the fact that I haven't found the right man, there's also the fact that,
what are you bringing your kids into?
What am I bringing my kids into this world to do? I don't want to be one of those parents who hovering over the child and don't want to give them freedom, because my mom didn't do that to me. But at the same time, you're looking around and you're seeing what's happening, and I can't.
It's scary.
It's scary.
As a young woman, how has the manner in which our country operates, how has that affected you? In terms of, would you probably now not go out at nights? Would you probably now not go out by yourself? How has that impacted you?
Well, one, I have an app on my phone that alerts people when I am not available for a while, so it's send a little ping with my location. Young women, I encourage you to get it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. That is something I should download.
There are, every time I go out now and I get back home late, there are a group of people who are waiting to hear that I am home safe. And I mean, one of our members based overseas, he actually did a post on it about a week ago that this is the new normal. Your new normal
And we can't
is,
accept it though. We can't.
But people have though, and they have been accepted.
It's
Me
sad.
personally, I think it's such an annoying way to live that I
Yeah.
have to be messaging people all the time to let them know where I am.
And it's
Sometimes
because of safety, because people probably think, well, you just want to know your business. But really and truly, it's people, your family who might be, looking out for your safety.
it's a safety precaution, and you're basically living your life with the fear, or it's in the back of your mind that crime can affect me today. I went to a club about a month ago. My friend came down from the States and we were like, oh, we'll go and party. Got home about 1:30 that morning. And I'm driving towards a police roadblock. Well, what I thought was a roadblock. It's about a minute away from where I live. And it was a shooting. A man was gunned down. 20 bullets. 20 bullets. I had to drive around to get home, but I mean, it's the reality. And I asked the officer before I left, I said, when did this happen? 5 minutes ago. And the thing is, I actually wanted to leave
Earlier.
So you always think about these things, how you could have gotten caught up. And it's a scary reality, but it's a reality that I don't think should continue, and it's a reality that I'm fighting to change. Being involved in the Progressive Empowerment Party, crime, it's sad that is what has people. It literally has you hostage.
Yeah. And welcome back to PSA TV. This is the Wake Up Call. On set, I've got with me the chairman of the PEP, Miss Felicia Holder. And we were talking about doing away with local government elections, first and foremost, and basically the state of our country.
Yep.
When you look at Trinidad and Tobago, are you happy the manner in which we operate, the manner in which we live? Sometimes you walk by and you see people just like, nothing really bothers me.
I think that is on the surface though, but I think beneath the surface, a lot of Trinidadians are very unhappy people. I mean, someone was recently, I think last night, they were comparing us to St. Lucians, and they were saying that we are just so, like, angry, like and sad, and just, there's this air of discontent with the people, and I think below the surface, I mean, we like to say that we're jovial and we're happy and we party, but I think once that wears off, people go home to their daily lives. We're on a hustle. That's what Trinbagonians are doing. We're hustling every day. We have to make $1, we have to get by, we have to pay rent, we have to pay school fees. But we're not happy. I don't think that deep down we're happy people. And I think behind all of the tribalists and party loyalty, I think people deep down know that this is not working for them. Would they come out and say it? I'm not sure. But I know, I'm positive that people, this can be normal and a way of living for them. At least a good way of living.
Do you remember when Trinidad and Tobago was voted as one of the countries, happiest countries in the world? And someone made the comment and said, it's because we mask almost everything.
So we what? Sorry,
we mask.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're good on that. We have a whole festival, a whole celebration that is geared around masking
and
things.
We're easily distracted from things that really bother us. So you might very well be focusing on, let's say, I'm just going to use getting garbage removed. But somewhere down the road there's a fete. Of course the fete will take precedence. And that's how we think as Trinis, because we're so conditioned that we need to upkeep this. We're a happy country, we're a happy place. But sometimes we forget that there are real issues and we need to face them.
I agree. I strongly agree with you. I also believe that there are people waking up to the reality, and there are people who would yes, there's the FET down the road and there's that, but I believe that particularly now where things are getting harder, I think people are opening their eyes. I'm having discussions with people who were never interested in politics a year, 2 years ago.
That as well.
And they're talking and they're saying, and they're grumbling, and they mightn't come out right and say, well, I am not voting for this party again.
Yeah.
But they're saying things like, you know, I didn't expect this to happen, or I expected better. And you're seeing a trend where people, their eyes are opening because they're also being educated. A lot of information is being put out into the public space, and I would have to give PEP kudos for that. I mean, as being one of those, the loudest voices in the nation right now that is talking real issues. But I think with the advent of social media, etc., people are no longer being fooled by the same old, same old. The Prime Minister came on Pickett's Corner a month ago and said that the opposition was trying to kill him, basically. And people laughed.
Yeah.
He was a social media meme.
Yeah.
People the next day asked, why is Keith Rowley such a target, and why do people want to kill him so badly? And people, especially in my generation, Christy, that was a joke. We don't take on those things. That's just stunts, and we want to talk real issues. We want to know when are real jobs going to be created. Not OJT, not URP, not CPEP. We want to know when are meaningful jobs going to be created. When is STEM technology coming to Trinidad? I have my best friend, the same one I went to the party with. That is what she's doing abroad. She migrated, and she is at the top of her field in STEM technology, and I'm so proud of her. But I'm thinking, she's a child of the soil of Trinidad and Tobago. It's so sad that she has to take all of her knowledge and be it's a brain drain on Trinidad and Tobago. She should be able to excel in her field, in her home soil.
You know, sometimes I wonder if the government, both past and present, if they don't realize that they are slowly pushing away young people, and all our talents, we just take it elsewhere. So our country will slowly be left with what? The older heads.
I am of the strong belief that that might be exactly what they want, because I can't be in government and see around me a country collapsing, some of these ministers, a lot of their children don't live here, you know. They live abroad, and they're in the US and in the UK. They are abroad, and they are making lives for themselves out there. Those who are left here to basically pick up the pieces and carry on life are the ones who have to deal with it. I don't think those governments or the people who have been in positions to change these things, I don't think they care, or they would have done it. I think there has been a complete lack of political will in the past 57 years. Those who may have tried, they definitely did not try it under the right government. And it's about time we have something new.
What can we do as young people to encourage youths to speak out?
That's a really good question. And actually, the youth arm of the Progressive Empowerment Party recently started a series of outreaches to the public called Youth Matter, where they're going to various popular liming spots for youth, like malls and movie town. And they're just basically engaging with people, and what they're learning is that this generation, and I agree, they are completely, and the one right after mine, they're completely fed up of the bacchanal politics and the who do this and this one trying to kill me, and they are fed up of that. And to reach out to youth, I think what they want most is the truth, and they want information. They bacchanal politics, leave that for the aunts and grandmothers and their parents. They want truth and they want information. They want a government that's going to tell them how are we going to benefit them. What are we going to do to create jobs? What are we going to do? To create opportunities. That's what we as Trinbagonians, simple, you know. We just want to like ourselves, and to like ourselves, we need to be comfortable. We need to be able to pay our bills.
Yeah.
I'm still freezing. We need to be able to pay our bills. We need to be able to live comfortably. And the young people, especially those going to university and coming out with 2 and 3 degrees, and then looking at the job market and seeing nothing for them.
No opportunities for you, yeah.
What do? They want a government that's going to tell them, how are we going to a 5, 10, 20-year plan to turn around this economy so that jobs are available. So those who are not tertiary education, who were not schooled via tertiary education, can pick up a trade and do well in their trade. It's not that because you're doing a trade you have to catch ASS. I don't know if I can say that here. But that whatever you're doing, your cost of living, they want to know how are we going to deal with that so that their cost of living is not high. A lot of people working right now and making salaries that back in the day would have been considered
very high.
Very high. But now when you have to count rent and food and it's nothing. And young people are looking at the fact that homes, Christy, homes. I'm 31 years old now. In my early teens, I thought I was going to own my own home by 20.
Yeah, I think that's every young person's dream.
Yeah, you don't want to
get a car.
Yes.
Those are the first 2 things you do when you start working, and that's your dream, and you work towards it, and then you slowly realize, okay, you're hitting 20, and oh, getting a home is even harder than you thought.
It is very hard. And what about the young entrepreneurs, those who don't want to work for anybody, but they want to start their own business and are realizing just how hard it is to start off. You go to the bank, you can get a loan for a costume. Somebody said it. Philip said it. You could get a loan for a costume. Clyde, the jammer, he's a DJ on one of those stations. You could get a loan for a car. But ask for a loan for a house now. Ask for a loan to start your business.
I was just given a rude awakening recently by that same point that you're making. And I said to myself, how? Okay, yes, granted, you have these various bodies that suppose to be giving out loans to start a business.
Yeah.
Notice what I'm stressing on.
Suppose, no, I underscore and put that in bold.
But here it is, I'm saying, see, in order for me to get a business loan, I have to have an established business. There is nothing to help me to start a business. So where do I go? So even if you want to be an entrepreneur, you naturally have to save, build, ask your aunt, ask somebody. But it really is difficult.
It is. I just started my own business myself, and I'm discovering just how hard it is you have to, and I'm not saying that you should not be doing these things yourselves, but you go to a bank and they want to see so much
your
things.
Financial records and this and that.
I moved money from one account to another, and the other bank made me do a source of income. And I said, but I literally just and they make things so hard for the people.
And it's not just for people, it's for the small man.
It's exactly, it's
You
hard.
tell me they're going to do that to a politician or somebody in a higher position.
But I asked the bank that question. I said, hold on, you're not asking me for this. The men who bringing in AK-15s and the men who supplying drugs for the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, who going into car salesmen's places and buying cars, cold hard cash. Are they being asked to present a source of income? Are they being asked to declare their wealth? Are they being asked where did they get this money from? But these are the things that we have to go through as regular, ordinary citizens who are trying to do things the right way, and it makes it so hard.
Yeah.
And young people are becoming very disenchanted with the way things are done here in Trinidad and Tobago. Their options are you find whatever work take you, or you migrate, and that's sad that those are the options. We are brilliant people here. Chrissy, I'm telling you, my friend is working in one of the top, what I can't call it because I'm not supposed to, but she's working at the top of her field in STEM technology in one of the most reputable companies in the United States right now. And it angers me that she's not doing that here because she presented a proposal to have it done here and it was shelved. But that, again, that's a reality.
You see, I'll tell you why. It was not something that came with an agenda to benefit anybody else at the level in which she proposed the proposal to. She made the proposal to it. It wasn't going to benefit anybody financially, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. And for people like her and me and a lot of other young people, that's very transparent. And they see through it, and they see all the ways this country is broken. That's one thing I have to say about my generation, our generation. It's that we are, particularly in the fact that we were brought up in the social media era, I think we're a lot more in tune to what is happening in the world. We are a lot more in tune to what we deserve as citizens, what should be our rights, and we're very much aware that we're not getting it. And we're willing to fight for it.
Yeah,
those UWI students last year who protested, I mean, I didn't agree 100% with the way they went about it, but the fact that they stood up, though, I applaud them. I applaud them.
I saw a quote somewhere, I'd rather die on my knee than get caught fighting. It's basically saying
I know this saying.
No, I'd rather die standing on my feet fighting than die on my knees bending. And I said, you know what? This is actually true.
Yeah.
Because too much times we just follow, and we follow blindly. And it's nice to see that the conversation from youths especially has taken a good turn.
Yes.
Like the conversation now on Twitter. I mean, there's always a way to twist it and make it relevant to our youths. So it's nice to see that we've actually been playing an important role there.
Yeah.
But at some point, we need to understand that this is where the country is, and this is what we need to do, how we could fix it.
Yeah.
And that has been the major concern for many young people. Who's going to fix it?
Well, I would say to the young people watching this, I myself, I was 28 years old when I got involved in this whole political thing. I got involved because just like you, I'm a young person and I'm seeing the future, I'm seeing the reality. There's this show that I'm watching now called The Good Wife. Philip Alexander actually made me start watching that show.
Yes, I do know that.
I'm turning into a bush lawyer now because of that show. I'm on season 6, and the star of the show, Alicia Florrick, she's looking to become, well, they're asking her to run for state attorney. Her husband formerly held that position. She doesn't want to do it, and someone is trying to convince her, and she's telling her, you know, why don't you run? And she said, I'm not a politician. I don't like politicians. I don't like politics.
Good.
And the lady said, good. I like that. She said, we have enough politicians. What we need are leaders who understand what it's like to be a public servant. And I substitute that word public servant in my case to say what we need in Trinidad and Tobago are leaders who understand what it's like to be a citizen of Belmont. What we need are leaders who understand what it's like to sit down in a hospital and wait 48 hours and not see a doctor. What we need are leaders who understand that waiting half an hour, 2 hours for an ambulance is unacceptable. What we need,
let's not talk about traffic,
are leaders who understand that the well-being of the citizens is the reason, purpose, and function of government. And I'm one of those, and I'm sure there are a lot of viewers who are, and who, just like that. And, you know, we invite you to stand. It doesn't have to be under the Progressive Empowerment Party, but you have to stand for something. You have to let your voice be heard, and particularly as young people, we can't just follow the same path that was laid before us generations ago. It's clearly not working. Time for something new.
I don't think it'll work in the future too.
It's not going to work in the future.
And speaking of viewers, let's say special good morning going out to Sal's. We have Celia Smith.
Those are all peppers. Hi, Sal's. Hi, Celia. Hi, Christian. I know you would have shared the video, aka Daniel Jackson.
We have Diane. We have Mr. Ashmi Muhammad. We have Alice.
Good morning to all my peppers who are watching this morning and supporting. I am freezing in the studios. If you see me, I sound nervous. It's because I'm shivering, literally.
It is cold. It's really cool. We have so many viewers here. So, good morning to all of you, and thank you all for joining us and watching and supporting us as always. So, Felicia, before we wrap things up, I'm just going to ask you your closing comments today.
My closing comments. I want to just talk a little bit more about what I just said in terms of we don't need more politicians. We need leaders. I would like to make a special plea to not just young people, because I made that plea to young people, but to all civic-minded citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We spoke a lot this morning. Christy has interviews like this daily. We read the papers, we hear the news. I heard about that child yesterday, not the day before, who died being transported for an ambulance because the previous time they called the ambulance, they never came. It's just unacceptable, and within our ranks, within 1.4 million of us, I know that there are lots of leaders amongst our ranks, people who know what it's like to be regular, average citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, dealing with the crap that we put up with every day. And I encourage you to stand out, let your voice be heard, and pay attention to the Progressive Empowerment Party, because we're not just here talking the same old politics that you're accustomed hearing, that your grandmother talk. We're here talking a new age politics. We're talking politics of the people. We're talking hope and opportunity. We're talking about job creation for young people. We're talking about career opportunities, not just a work. And this is what we need as a country to advance. We're talking water for all.
Yeah.
They said, 60 in 3 years we would have gotten water. It turned into 62. Put the Progressive Empowerment Party into office and we give you water in less than 5 years. Because we understand that a lot of these things is management and political will, and we would like to be the political party to in government to bring this to the people, bring betterment to the people, because that's what we're all about.
All right, Ms. Holder, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me in your cool studio.
We'll try to provide some sort of warm,
next time I'll wear
fireplace or something. You never know, we'll probably have a fireplace.
A fireplace is welcome.
All right, so thank you so much for coming on this morning, and I'm sure all of you has learned a lot about not just yourself, but about many of the situations that we face on a daily basis, and some of us may not even want to talk about it. So this is PSA TV. We'll be right back.